My name is Erin Dickson and I'm an artist who works with glass at the National Glass Centre in Sunderland. This is the water jet room. So you can cut all sorts of materials in here. So you'll do a lot of computer work where you're prepping files, and then the machine will cut over here. I was initially attracted to glass because I trained as an architect, and it was a material that's commonly used in architecture.
This might smash while I'm trying to get it out. There's a piece of the window.
This piece is window 3, and it's the view from one of the homes that I've lived in over the past 3 years. And it's made using sheet glass, so the kind of glass that you'll find in your windows at home. So each individual line here is a layer of glass that's been cut flat, and then it's flipped up and fused together in a very hot kiln to make one solid object. So this is the type of kiln that I would use to fuse the work window in. So it would get cut on the water jet and then loaded into here, and you would heat up the work until it fuses, and then it then becomes one solid piece of work. So to get to this point, there was a lot of smashed glass. This was a technique that I developed myself. So nobody's worked in this particular way with glass before. I must have smashed at least 6 of these to get this one. One of the reasons why I make this work is to preserve the views of all the places that I've ever lived. I love the views out of my windows in the northeast. I think there's a very particular view that we can all recognise of back lanes and backyards, and I really like to capture that view and let everyone see it in a gallery. I never draw. I actually work purely digitally when I'm doing sketches, so I like to think of my 3D modelling software as a sketchbook. This chandelier is actually a scan of a chandelier that exists in Murano, in the Murano Museum. I was 3D scanning it, and I was told by the staff not to take photographs, and I said, actually I'm 3D scanning, and they said, okay, carry on. So I now have a 3D file that exists of the original chandelier, but the copy that I have is actually a bad copy because it's very hard to scan glass. So what exists is this weird morphed version of the original, which I will print to full scale. So this is a scale model of the final chandelier. This is about 1/6 of the size, and this is printed, 3D printed in plastic. I'm making this cheap version, so I'm using a cheaper material. It won't be transparent, but light will still glow through it because it will have embedded LEDs inside. Making the work is an important part for me. I do like to get my hands on materials at some point, but it doesn't mean that I need to make the whole piece myself. So I like to have an initial introduction into techniques. So for example, I've recently learned how to make neon, but that doesn't necessarily mean that when I come to make the final object that I would have made it myself. I just have an understanding of how it works. I think glass is an everyday material that we use in our everyday life, so we look through it, we drink from it. But it's sort of got a mystical quality to it as well. How is it made? It's a difficult material to work with, but then you have really beautiful results.